Hello, friends, and welcome back to the Juicebox Podcast. If you don't love today's episode, you can have your money back.
Hi, my name is Eden. I'm from Greenville, South Carolina, and I am a mom to 3, and my 8-year-old Eloise, also known as Wheezy, is living with type 1 diabetes.
You should not, in any way, shape, or form, take anything you hear on the Juicebox Podcast as medical advice. I'm talking about medical advice, regular advice, any kind of advice. This is a podcast. Nothing you hear on the Juicebox Podcast should be considered advice, medical or otherwise. Always consult a physician before making any changes to your healthcare plan. I cannot stress that enough. Today we've got a great podcast and it's sponsored by great advertisers. US Med, the Eversense 365, and Twist. You know about Twist? It's an insulin pump. I'll tell you all about it in a second. I'm having an on-body vibe alert. This episode of the Juicebox Podcast is sponsored by the Eversense 365, the only one-year wear CGM. That is one insertion and one CGM a year. One CGM, 1 year, not every 10 or 14 days. EversenseCGM.com/juicebox. This episode of the podcast is sponsored by the Twist AID system powered by Tidepool. That features the Twist loop algorithm, which you can target to a glucose level as low as 87. Want to learn more? Go to visit.twist.com/juicebox. That's visit.twist.com/juicebox. And Twist has 2 I's. You understand? TWIIST.com. Visit.twist.com/juicebox. Hey, US Med is a longtime sponsor of the podcast. It's where we get our diabetes supplies from. You could as well. usmed.com/juicebox, or you can call 888-721-1514. US Med, that's where my daughter gets her supplies. Use the link or the number. Get your free benefits check today and get started with US Med.
Hi, my name is Eden. I'm from Greenville, South Carolina, and I am a mom to 3, and my 8-year-old Eloise, also known as Wheezy, is living with type 1 diabetes.
God bless you letting me call this episode Moving On Up if you just say one heartfelt thing.
That's right.
Oh, gosh. You call her Wheezy? That's awesome.
We call her Wheezy. We were like no nicknames before she was born, and yet here we are. We call her Wheezy or Wheezer.
Weezer's awesome. Hey, she doesn't have like breathing issues,
no
though,
asthma.
right?
No
asthma, nothing like
Knew
that.
that was coming.
Well, I mean, that would be rude, is what I'm saying.
No. We just live in the South, and Wheezy and Weezer is easy.
That's awesome. Weezer, I think with an accent, must be an amazing nickname.
I feel like I don't have a crazy Southern accent, but then, I had these people who are around me who were like, Weezer, come on, Wheezy.
Well, yeah, you're not all the way there. I hear you tail off a little bit, but you're not thick like that in the middle. But I'm just imagining people in the grocery store calling her like, oh, it's awesome. Look, there she is. It's Weezer. Must be amazing. No disrespect. I think that would be fantastic. Okay, so wait a minute. You got 3 kids. You're married, right?
Yes.
How old are the kids again?
They are 12, 9, and 8.
12, 9, 8. Which one has type 1?
Eloise is the youngest, 8-year-old.
8-year-old. Okay. Any other autoimmune in the family?
Unfortunately, yes. So I have Hashimoto's. My mom has Graves'. My mom has psoriasis. And then my husband's father has type 1 diabetes also.
Whoa. Yeah, this was always going to happen. Yeah. Look at you. Did you know any of this going in? Like how long you been married?
We have been married for it'll be 13 years this September.
Okay. When you're dating and hooking up and getting ready to get married, does anybody say like, oh, I have Hashimoto's? And you're not thinking about any of that, right?
Absolutely not. Like, okay. I knew my husband's dad had diabetes, but I didn't even know what kind of diabetes he had. Like, I always joke, I'm like, so you brought diabetes to the marriage.
Listen, I'll tell you right now, if you're out there dating and your boyfriend or girlfriend can't make it from the restaurant to home without looking for a toilet and you have autoimmune, I'd skip it if I was you.
That's right. Think again. Try again.
I'll tell you what, my dating app would look way different than other people's dating apps.
That's exactly right.
I'd be like, you have eczema behind your ear? Sorry, my grandmother has Hashimoto's. We're not doing this.
Swipe left, or whatever it is. Tinder was before my time. Swipe the way that you don't want them.
I don't know which way I don't understand the swiping either.
I don't either. It was before my time. My husband and I met before online dating was really a thing. He was in the Navy and I was in the Air Force, and we were just like, hey, you're a cool guy, you're a cool girl, and here we are.
Wait, he was in the Navy and you were in the Air Force. So did you land a plane on his boat? Is that how you meet, or how do you meet?
Absolutely not. We were just going to get physicals, and he actually was telling me about his 100-pound weight loss before he joined the Navy. And I was like, okay, well, this guy, he's ambitious. So.
But he's definitely not hitting on me, because
absolutely not.
It's not a thing you usually lead with. Hey, do you know I used to weigh much more than this?
That's right. That's exactly what he led with. But yeah, so his dad had type 1, and I didn't even know the difference. I just knew his dad had diabetes.
Mm-hmm.
And hindsight's always 20/20. Even like the first few years we were married, obviously his life revolved around type 1, and he is old school. He's 54, 55 now. And I remember like he had his syringe and his vial. I'm sorry, his vial of insulin and his syringe, and he carried them everywhere. No pump, no CGM, nothing like that. And I didn't even like put 2 and 2 together that it was insulin. Like I had no idea.
You're freaking me out. Your father-in-law is my age. How old are you?
I am 35 and my husband's 33.
Wait, 33, 43. Wow. Okay. So your father-in-law had your husband when he was like 20.
Yeah, they were youngins.
I gotta tell you
we got started early. We have a middle schooler and my husband's 33. Weird.
I gotta tell you, that makes me feel a lot better, because I felt very old for a half a second. I was like, wait a minute, because you don't feel like you're that much younger than me, but are you? And then, okay. All right, I feel better now. So you're aware now, you're dating and you're aware of the father-in-law and his diabetes, but he makes it look a little bit like you just have this with you and this needle and pop yourself some insulin once in a while.
Yeah, I just kind of just didn't really think much about it. I mean, we'd go on like vacations with them, and his management style I think is different than how we manage our daughters, and he had a couple of seizures and things like that, and I was kind of like, oh, that's probably not good, but didn't really piece together that it was because of the diabetes. Like I was just like, oh.
So he's like, draw it up, jam it in, let's go. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, just didn't really think anything. Which hindsight, I'm like, man, I really should have learned more earlier, and I should have maybe taken it a little bit more serious, because our daughter, fully was in DKA when she was diagnosed.
Okay. Did you notice, did your husband see any of the signs, or how did you figure it out?
I think he did, but I think he was in major denial. His dad was a single dad growing up, and he really saw the rough side of diabetes, saw him have several seizures as a kid and saw how difficult it was for him to manage. And even my husband was a corpsman in the Navy, so like a medic. And when our daughter was diagnosed, he was a medical lab technician. Mm-hmm. So, he knew all of it, but just kind of still didn't put it together.
Have you guys talked about that since then?
Not really. It's only been a year and a half since
Best not to communicate. It's much better.
It's not. Straight up. Just
let him have his feelings.
I do sometimes send a screenshot and I'm like, remember this text message I sent you? Remember this where I said, I think our daughter has diabetes?
Is that how you fight, Eden?
Sometimes, yes. He is the nicest guy you'll ever meet in your life, and I'm probably not the nicest person ever. So I'll be like, remember this?
I have a saying, I believe this to be true, that my wife is still mad at me for the first thing that I did wrong to her.
Absolutely. You can never forget that.
And I don't know what it is, and I guarantee she doesn't either. But I know she's still mad about it.
You have to remain mad about all the things and then bring them up, when the time presents.
I just love you with digital receipts, sending screenshots to people.
100%.
You're like a 13-year-old arguing with their friends.
Absolutely. I'm like, I have the receipts right here.
It's fantastic. I have the receipts. Hey, you're not in charge of any of the rockets or anything like that, are you, on the planes?
No, I'm not in the Air Force anymore. I've been out for 9 years since I got pregnant with our middle son.
Okay.
No, so I teach preschool now, so
they don't love you pregnant in the Air Force. That's not helpful.
It wasn't really a great situation. I always say if the military wanted you to have a family, they would have issued you one. So both of us being in was a little tricky, and I mean, again, hindsight is always 20/20, because if I was a working parent and I had a child with type 1 and 3 kids, and I was my ADHD self, it would be terrible. Like the blood sugar would be horrible. It'd be awful.
Diabetes, as you know, comes with a lot of things to remember, so it's nice when someone takes something off of your plate. US Med has done that for us. When it's time for Ardent supplies to be refreshed, we get an email. The email just rolls up in my inbox. It's like, hey, this is, time for your supply order. I don't exactly know what it says. I open the email. There's a big button. I click on it. I reorder, and I'm done. Finally, somebody taking away a responsibility instead of adding one. And boy, oh boy, has US Med done that for us. An email arrives, we click a link, and the next thing you know, your products are at the front door. That simple. usmed.com/juicebox or call 888-721-1514. I never have to wonder if Ardent has enough supplies. I click on one link, I open up a box, I put the stuff in a drawer, and we're done. US Med carries everything from insulin pumps and diabetes testing supplies to the latest CGMs like Libre 3 and the Dexcom G7. They accept Medicare nationwide, over 800 private insurers, and all you have to do to get started is call that number, 888-721-1514, or use my link, usmed.com/juicebox. Using that number or that link helps to support the production of the Juicebox Podcast. This episode of the Juicebox Podcast is sponsored by the Eversense 365. Get 365 days of comfortable wear without having to change the sensor. When you think of a continuous glucose monitor, you think of a CGM that lasts 10 or 14 days. But with the Eversense 365, it lives up to its name, lasting 365 days. That's 1 year without having to change your CGM. With the Eversense 365, you can count on comfort and consistency 365 days a year. Because the Eversense silicone-based adhesive is designed for your skin to be gentle and to allow you to take the transmitter on and off to enjoy your shower, a trip to the pool, or any activity where you don't want your CGM on your body. If you're looking for comfort, accuracy, and a 1-year wear, you are looking for Eversense 365. Go to eversensecgm.com/juicebox to learn more.
Teaching preschool 2 days a week is a much better fit.
You have ADHD as well?
I would guess.
You
Not formally diagnosed, but I would guess.
Are you anxious?
For sure.
Yeah, for sure.
But I don't know how much of that is from the diabetes, like just not from me having diabetes, but from watching. Like it's definitely gotten worse since her diagnosis.
It has.
But yeah, I mean, diagnosis wise, going back to her diagnosis
story,
please. It kind of snuck up on us. She was losing so much weight. And that was kind of my first. She's tiny anyways. Like she's 8 now and maybe weighs like 50 pounds. So she's tiny. But I noticed she was losing weight, wetting the bed, the classic symptoms, drinking excess water.
Mm-hmm.
But she was super irritable. Like she was getting a bit annoying the summer leading up to it. And we were kind of like, is this, because we have 2 boys and then it's our first girl. And I'm like, is this how girls are? Like, I remember my sister being like, she's really bratty.
About you? Or no, about your daughter? Your sister pulled you aside and said, hey, your kid's a problem?
Yeah. We're just like that, And so she's like, she's kind of like getting super bratty. And I was like, yeah, she really is. And all these things were just adding up. And conveniently, we were between insurances at the time. My husband had taken a new job and it's going to be like 30 days in between. And we're like, it'll be fine. Like the worst that happens is like one of the boys breaks their arm or something. It'll be fine. We did not expect a PICU visit.
And that's something. But that really is how things work. Yeah.
Murphy's Law.
Yeah.
But we hadn't seen my parents in a couple weeks. My mom is a nurse and we go to a football game where my son's playing football and Eloise is cheering. And my mom was like, she kind of looked at me and she's like, she looks really bad, Eden. Like, you need to take her in. Her analogy was that she looked like Bella from Twilight whenever she was like really sick.
Honey, get out in the sun. What's going on?
Hey, she was like,
can I ask you, how's your relationship with your mom? How'd you take that when she said the kid didn't look good? Did you take it as helpful, or do you think she's sticking her nose into your business?
We're super close. I took it as helpful. Again, she's a nurse. She's a mom of 4, a grandmother of 8. So I was like, she probably means well. Also, most of my family's in healthcare, and they're usually pretty spot on. But I think all of us were still really in denial that it was type 1.
Okay. So when your mom tells you, hey, the kid don't look right, and at that point, does your husband have an inkling? And has he shared it with you yet?
No, I had texted him the night before. He was working night shift. And I said, I just like this isn't right. And she was having UTIs, constipation, all these things. And I said, I'm going to go to CVS and buy a glucometer.
Mhm.
I go to CVS and I'm like, I'm not spending $40 on a glucometer. Like, of course, so I'm like, I'm good. I go back home and I have the receipts where I texted him and I said, I think she has type 1 diabetes. And he's like, nah, it's anything else. It's not type 1.
You
But my
think
mom is like,
you think he just didn't want it to be, right?
absolutely.
Okay.
I think he just was like, I cannot handle, I've seen this with my dad. I cannot have a child with type 1 as well.
And your mom, what did your mom say? Your mom backed it up?
Yeah, she was like, no, I think she was begging for a Fanta at this football game. She's cheering and she's begging us for a Fanta, probably because she was so thirsty. And we're like, sure, you can have a Fanta, which is like, I don't know, 50 carbs. So we give it to her and, just looking at her, she looked terrible. So she cheers the football game. We give her fruit snacks at the end of the football game and we go home. And then at like 10 p.m., my mom, before we left, she was like, my dad has type 2 diabetes. So my mom's like, take your dad's glucometer. I think you should test her blood sugar. And I was like, well, that's a waste. It's not her blood sugar, but whatever. So we go home, we stick the finger and it just reads error. And I text my mom, I'm like, this is a bad glucometer. It's broken. But I see this look on my husband's face like, oh, this is not, this ain't good. So for whatever reason, my brother-in-law is a firefighter. We're like, let's go to the fire department and use their glucometer. We get there, they stick the finger and the fireman's like, again, we're in the South, bless his heart. He's like, is she afraid of needles? Can I stick her finger? And I'm like, yeah, she's 6. Of course she's afraid of needles, but sure, let's test the blood suger.
I haven't met anybody yet who looks at a needle and goes, oh, awesome.
Right. So I'm like, okay. So their glucometer just reads high. And I in that moment, that was the moment, like I see on my husband's face, like he knew. Yeah. He 100% knew. So we go to the ER and I'm still like in denial. I'm still texting with like my mom and I'm like, could this be anything else? Trying to convince myself. And finally on the way there, I look at my husband and I'm like, if you saw a patient like this, they have these symptoms, blood sugar's reading high, what would you say? And he just like looked at me on the way there and he was like, she has type 1 diabetes.
Yeah.
And I still thought, oh, we'll get to the hospital. They'll tell us something else. So we get there, we do a little triage and everything. And ER doc comes in and she's like, how long has she had diabetes? I'm like,
about 20 minutes
since now.
Yeah.
So blood sugar was 750. I didn't even realize she was as sick as she was. I can't even look back at her labs because they're so bad.
How about visually? How much different did she look a week later?
Oh my gosh, just night and day. Like she looked horrible. Now that I look back, like she looked awful. She was skinny. The eyes were sunken, just awful.
Isn't it something when you stop and you quantify it and you realize like, oh God, she was dying?
Yeah. I can't even look back at the labs because they're so terrible.
Yeah. I hope that when I bring that up, I hope that people take from it what I mean for them to take from it, which is health slips away. And even when you're like try to juxtapose it for a second. So like, here's a situation where your kid is like, her body's trying to shut off. Right. And it's going to in a couple more days, probably. But just imagine when you have just like small illnesses or a little infection or something like
what's
that.
Happening?
Yeah. What's going on in your body and why it's so important to pay attention to stuff like that. Or even why, when your vitamin D is low or your vitamin B is low or your iron's low, like it's not the same life that you get if things are optimized. And this is a really, a dire situation and still the body's trying to make it through it. Like that's absolutely kind of amazing. You know what I mean? So
it is. Yeah. It's amazing. It's also just like so sad. And you get that the parental guilt that I'm sure everybody feels, of, how did I let my kid get this sick? My boys both played travel baseball and like the season was kind of ramping up and we'd been really busy, but I had gotten her dressed that morning, the morning before we took her in. And I was like, wow, like she's so skinny, But yeah, just super sick when we got there and they said, we can't even treat her at this hospital. We need to move her somewhere else. We'll take her by ambulance. Like they wouldn't let us take her. And of course, conveniently, because we're in between insurances, like, yes, you're thinking, oh, this is horrible, but you're also like, how am I going to pay for all this?
Yeah, we're selling the house now. What's going on?
Yeah, this is terrible. I mean, as a result, like we were left with some pretty heavy medical bills, and that's overnight. That's just one of those things that happens overnight. But what do you do? You know, it is what it is.
Would you do, if you're comfortable, and if you're not, just tell me no, but would you put a number on that? Like, what did you end up owing?
Oh my gosh. I think we applied for financial assistance through our hospital here and did get a little bit of that. But it was still over 50 grand at the end of the day. Wow. So we've just kind of been slowly paying that off.
You're a young family too. It's a huge hit,
It is. And again, what do you do? We thought about going back and retroactively getting Cobra, but the premium there was still like almost $2,000. And then you're still going to have medical bills on top of that. Mm-hmm. And you can't apply for financial assistance. So
then that 50 turns into what, 150 or something like that?
Exactly. Yeah. So it's like, you don't really have a choice. But we were in and out of there in less than 24 hours. Because I think they had too much faith in us, honestly. Like, they were like, oh, you guys probably got it.
They're in the military. It'll be fine. Yeah, I heard the guy say something medical. You get out of here, you kids.
Yeah, they were like, y'all probably are fine. And we were like, don't think so. But I think they also knew, like, hey, these people are in here, uninsured. We need to get them the heck out of here. Oddly enough, whenever we were still in the ER, like, I think this was maybe 10 minutes after we had gotten the diagnosis, I'd already found the podcast.
Really?
Immediately turned to the internet, of course, because,
why not?
Millennials. Immediately turned to the internet, and it's like Juicebox Podcast. And I'm like, well, I'm probably not going to need that because they're going to tell me this is a joke, but whatever.
Hey, I just want to point out $50,000 for 24 hours. That's $2,000 an hour. That's not bad work if you can get it.
I know, right?
Well, so you are panicked, I imagine. You don't know what's going on. You're like, I know what'll help. I'll go to the place where email and porn lives. That'll probably straighten it out for me.
100%.
Yeah. And you were like, hey, what do you Google? Do you go right to a podcast app? Like, what's your inclination? Here's what makes Twist different. It measures the volume of insulin delivered with every dose using sound wave technology. That gives it the ability to recognize a blockage quickly. Allowing you to step in and deal with it before things potentially get out of range. It is also the only automated insulin delivery system that can be controlled from an Apple Watch. So you can discreetly check in. Enter carbs, or deliver insulin right from your wrist. You can also set your glucose target anywhere from 87 to 180 milligrams per deciliter and adjust it for different times of day. So if mornings, workouts, school, work, or bedtime all need a little different approach, Twist can flex with that. And here's a real life example. You enter carbs, then something changes. And you do not actually eat what you planned. With Twist, you can go back and correct or remove the carb entry, and the system adjusts based on the new information, because diabetes doesn't always follow the plan, and your tech probably should not expect you to either. If you'd like to learn more, go to visit.twist.com/juicebox. That's visit.twist.com/juicebox. Don't forget, Twist has 2 eyes.
I think I had just typed in like type 1 diabetes on Facebook or TikTok. I don't remember. Mm-hmm. The podcast popped up, and then my husband's got a buddy who's like his age who has type 1. He's like, hey, you should really listen to this podcast too. But again, fully was convinced, like, I'm not going to need this because they are going to tell me that this is an incorrect diagnosis.
Can I tell you a funny story? I was driving through South Carolina once on 95. Hold on a second. I swear to you, I'm going like 85 miles an hour, 95, I'm going north. I'm in South Carolina. And this guy pulls up next to me in traffic. And you know how, like, I don't know if you do this, but I look everybody in the face, like, while I'm driving.
Sure, yeah.
Right?
Intimidation.
Like, no, just left, right? I don't know. I want to see what people look like. I'm fascinated by people. So I left, right? I look at this guy. He makes this weird face at me. And then we look back and forth, and he kind of pulls forward, but then he slides back, like, equal with me again. He looks over and he points at me, and he makes the little heart thing. And he points to himself and he goes, I heart. And then he points at me and I went, what is happening? Like, am I getting hit on? Like, by the way, if I've got that kind of gay, like, magnetism at 85 miles an hour, I might have picked wrong. You know what I mean? I was like, because I don't see ladies chasing me around like this.
That's right.
But then it hit me and I went, podcast? And he nods really like, and I was like, oh my God. Am I famous? Amazing. I might be famous. That's what I thought.
You are famous. You are.
And I was like, this is really insane. Anyway, I waved and I said, thank you. And he sped off.
I thought you were going to tell me he had like a Dukes of Hazzard, like horn or something.
No. Listen, if I had to complain about you people in South Carolina, you people can't drive. Like that highway.
We cannot drive. So I just was like, he's going to give some kind of South Carolina stereotype. I will preface this by saying my 12-year-old and my 9-year-old son both have mullets, like intentional mullets.
On purpose? So, they're like, Mom, can we get it like this, please?
They do. I don't know if it's like living in South Carolina or them playing baseball, but yeah, every 4 weeks I just walk into the Great Clips and I'm like, can you trim up the mullet?
Get this thing clean for these boys. No, but seriously, like, I don't know why I brought that up other than it makes me sound great. And it was a South Carolina reference. But no, I was stunned by, like, I guess I'm being serious. I wanted to bring this up to you and I'm using this to say it. I've made a decision this week to stop acting surprised that people know about the podcast.
You should stop acting surprised because all week, like anybody I talk to, I'm like, I'm going on the Juicebox podcast, especially if it's like my diabetes friends. Like they're like, what? I'm like, please guys, try not to be too jealous. Like I am a local celeb.
Step back, please. Don't get too close. But seriously, like, so I want to first say it's genuine for me. But I tried to step out of myself the other day because I found myself saying it to somebody, and the way it was how she responded back to me. She goes, "Oh, come on, Scott!" Like almost like she was like, "Don't do false modest here." And I wasn't doing false modest. I really am stunned by it still. But I just said to myself, I'm like, I got to get past that part. Like
you do,
yeah. Like that's 12 years now. I think it's okay for me to like be okay with the fact that it's a thing. So anyway, to help me get past it, I've been working on a graphic for my social media. And what I've learned is that this is the #1 diabetes podcast in the world by download or by ranking. And if you then go to search results for type 1 diabetes inside of Apple Podcasts, it also ranks in like 175 other countries or some crazy number like that. I'm working through it right now. But nevertheless, I'm like, and I'm doing that. I mean, honestly, I'm doing it kind of business-wise. It looks good when the people see it online. But like, but the other thing is like, I really have got to stop myself out of going, oh, no kidding. You found the podcast? Like, because that's how like the little fat kid inside of me feels when you say it.
Right.
Like,
right. And that's probably how my husband felt when he met me. Like, little fat kid.
Well, no, he was probably like, is this girl really talking to me? Thank God I did that sit up. This is awesome.
But you do have to talk yourself out of that because, like I said, I literally found it in the ER. I mean, it was one of the first things that came up and was listening to it like on the way home from the PICU.
How was it? Was it helpful? Was it overwhelming? Did you just jump in and grab an episode? What? I
started at the beginning, like went to the very beginning, your first podcast. And I think the first episode you were talking about like how it gives you a different perspective. And I was like, yep. Already, like I have a totally different perspective on just life in general.
Yeah. Oh no, for sure. Immediately. Like I feel I 20 years ago, I felt like I was 70 years old. I felt like I understood the world. Like it strips away all the nonsense in life.
It
like,
does.
For me,
it totally does.
Yeah.
Even like I'm very much a person who my family loves to remind me of this. I think I care too much about what people think. Mm-hmm. And I've had to let go of so much of that when it comes to diabetes. Because people are going to judge you either way,
Yeah. I'll tell you, I don't know if this is not a thing I would normally want to say, but the day before Christmas last year, I had to run out to get one last gift. And I definitely haven't told this in the podcast because it's embarrassing. So I go out to the garage. I open up my garage door. I notice that my son is parked in an odd place behind my garage door. And I literally say to myself as I'm walking around and getting in, like, I'm going to have to be careful of his car. And I'm backing straight out. And as my eye line clears the garage, so I can kind of see outside of the garage now, this Amazon truck comes flying into my driveway and comes to an abrupt stop. And I mean, the guy's, he's clearly like, he's rushing around like crazy, right? Like, the day before Christmas. And God bless him. That's what we all want him out there doing. But anyway, the timing was such that my eye cleared the garage. he was like doing that rocking to a stop thing in a big truck. And my brain just went, what the hell is that? And in the split second that it took me to go, oh, that's a big truck. It's a delivery truck. It's not going to hit me. I hit my son's car.
No.
Yeah. Because it was that close. Like it was close tolerances, right? I wasn't going fast or anything like that. It was literally, if I just messed up, I would tell you. It was just the confluence of what happened right then and there, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm telling you this because I get out. My bumper's trash. His hood and his bumper need to be replaced. And I went, huh. And then I pulled forward, backed up, and went and did the shopping, came back home, walked inside. My son came down and I said, hey, I got bad news. I hit your car. I'll get it fixed. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, because like, what are you going to do? That's
Also,
what it is.
I'm telling you that before diabetes, I would have had a meltdown.
Same.
I would have thought about the money and the time and how irritated I was with myself and how let down I was. And I felt stupid. And the guy in the Amazon truck, why is he driving? And I just didn't think about one of those things because I think I have a different perspective than I used to have.
No, for sure. It definitely does. I used to be like, my kids call it a crash out. Mm-hmm. That's the term. Mm-hmm. They're like, Mom's like the biggest crash out ever. They call me a D1 crash out. So I love that.
Oh, those boys want to play baseball in college. That's nice.
Oh yeah. Like a Division I crash out. But like now, just some of this stuff, I'm like, this is just not this serious. I mean, like I said, they both play travel baseball, and you know, the mornings of these tournaments are crazy because you're trying to get your son ready, and you know, do they have the right pants, and do they have the eye black, and what bat are you swinging today? It's not that serious because I'm also like, hey, if your sister doesn't have, like, if her sight's bad this morning, she could be in DKA by the end of this tournament. So it doesn't really matter.
It just might ruin the whole day, like one way or the other. Hey, you know what, too? I'll tell you something, and to try to find a silver lining in this. When you pay that $50K off, you're going to think, we paid off $50,000. I bet you we could save $50,000.
100%. Yeah, it totally puts it into perspective. It totally does. Well, even like the price of diabetes supplies, like, you know, it puts it in perspective. I'm like, well, overnight, you have to find the money for this. Overnight. Like one day you're like, I got this, you know, whatever. And then the next day, no. And people think like your insurance covers everything. I don't know what the misconception is there. Like, like I'm like, no, these little fun over patches that she needs for over her Dexcom, like, yeah, we can go without those, but her Dexcom's going to fall off in 48 hours. Mm-hmm. I'm the one paying for those. I'm not asking, you know, my insurance to do that. I'm the one paying for them. Yeah.
I absolutely, I just think it really does shift your focus about what matters. And if you let it,
sure.
you have to let it. But it's such a gift. Like, I can't believe I'm saying this, but it is one of the best gifts of this diabetes thing is that I feel more centered.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely feel more centered, and you know, we're Christians and we're big believers, and my husband and I have plenty of days where we just sit down and like cry over diabetes. Yeah. And I'm like, this is the worst diabetes day ever. But my husband's always like, you have to find this silver lining. And most days it comes down to, I think our family is supposed to educate as much as we can. My daughter's the first one at her school that has had type 1. We also do not have a school nurse at our school. Yeah. So that's a whole nother pot of things that we deal with. I teach there 2 days a week, but the other 3 days, there is no trained medical staff there. It's a lot of texting with me and the teacher, which is fine. Like we've figured it out. We're in our groove. She's only in 2nd grade. So she is not self-managing. The teachers are really good, but there are days where I definitely have my moments of panic of like, could they handle an emergency?
I mean, and you're going to educate them as they go. Listen, I don't know if somebody put me in a position like you think. I don't know that I believe that, or it doesn't matter to me one way or the other. But I can tell you that yesterday I had a moment where I went out with I met a friend. I'll just be clear. I met a buddy of mine at a reptile show, and sorry, I'm still embarrassed. But his name, by the way, his name's Frank. He's a great guy. And if you want to buy reptiles, you should go to Living Art by Frank Payne. He has some of the most.
I will absolutely not be doing that.
Okay. Some of the most unique little lizards that he breeds and sells. Really lovely guy. Anyway, I get there a little early. I pay. I get the stamp on my arm. I got to go to the bathroom. But as I'm walking through the place, I have this feeling. And I go, I think I look terrible. I shouldn't have picked the shirt that I picked
your
today.
shirt. Your shirt.
Yeah.
I read the post.
You read the post. Okay. So I'll give people context who are listening, but then I'll tell you why. So I'm like pulling at it. I'm like, it's grabbing me weird. I think I look, in my head, I'm like, I think I look fat. Like, I can't believe I picked this shirt, like blah, blah, blah. So I go into the bathroom to use the bathroom, but also to figure out like, how can I mitigate this, abject disaster that is, so that I'm not walking around feeling like this the whole time. And I look in the mirror and I go, oh, yep, there it is. Like, look at and then I looked harder and I was like, what am I talking? Like, this is ridiculous. I look fine. Like, I don't just look fine. I look like, anyway, I thought, a lot of people must be feeling this now. I know there's a lot of people using GLPs in the community. Like, I'm going to take I took a picture to prove actually I took the picture to show my wife to go, I think I have a mental illness. And like, but I looked at it and I'm like, I'm going to put this on Instagram and I'm going to tell people how I feel, because other people must feel like that as well. And then you get back hundreds of people who are like, oh my God, I feel the exact same way. And then I realized like, yeah, that just helped a lot of people. And while they were responding, a lot of them would start by saying, Scott, I've lost a lot of weight in the last 2 years because I listened to your weight loss stuff. Mm-hmm. And it's funny because I saw a number of people online making fun of me about that weight loss, the content that I made when I first started doing it. And so one person looks at it and mocks me for being open or whatever they think, who cares? But 2 years down the road, downstream, I'm looking at 50, 100 people just who saw that picture yesterday, not necessarily the only 50 or 100, who are like, my life is much better off today because of the thing you learned and said out loud. And I think you can do the same thing, even if it's just in your school or in your neighborhood or your community. And you guys, everyone listening could be doing that. You could be moving things towards a better place. You could take your bad thing and turn it into something good, That's
absolutely right. And you kind of have to do that with diabetes. Talking about GLP-1s, my husband and I are both on one, as are my parents. My brother loves to make fun of us. Like, he's like, no one's eating at the family function because we're all on GLPs.
Yeah, it's how we're saving money for retirement. We're not buying food.
We have to pay off these medical bills. So,
how am I covering this $50K if I'm buying Oreos? I got to make a cut somewhere.
And we have 2 boys who are playing baseball, so we gotta cut back. No, I'm kidding. But no, I mean those have been life changing. And honestly, like leading into her diagnosis, I was the only one on a GLP, and I had made a lot of lifestyle changes. And not like we don't make her eat like she's on a GLP, but like we try to make better family decisions.
Sure.
Probably decisions that I couldn't have made for our family before a GLP-1.
Yeah.
So that totally feeds into it. And my mom is the same way. My mom she'd had gastric sleeve and she tried all these things, and she'd been on a GLP leading up to Eloise's diagnosis. And it's just helped us make better choices at our family events. Mm-hmm. Like we don't need to have a cookie cake and ice cream and all these things. Like, let's try to choose a low carb option, not because we make her eat low carb. Which I know is super
you don't even have to
controversial.
say low carb. How about like, why don't we just mitigate how much sugar is in the food we're eating?
Right. Like, let's just not go, we call it hard in the paint. Let's just not go hard in the paint when we're eating, Like, none of us need to do it. Exactly. We all say that we have a TTC, a tendency to chunk. So let's negate that TTC and try to do better for her. I tell her all the time, like, you're probably going to be healthier than your brothers at the end of the day because you make better choices.
Paying attention to your health more so than most people do.
Right.
Yeah. That's one of the things I've brought up to people before, is that just by proxy, you have to pay better attention to yourself if you have type 1. And it probably has a ton of downstream effect after that.
For sure. I think that's the whole huge picture of it. And we want our boys to be healthier. So our family we kind of dial in a little bit more, and things that we wouldn't have done 10 years ago because we just weren't thinking about it. Mm-hmm. It totally makes me feel insensitive to my father-in-law, who was like trying to make good choices. And then, we're all like, struggling. Let's have spaghetti every single day.
Yeah, let's have spaghetti every single day. Well, it's cheap. Well, listen, there's a fair argument. I'm listening to an interview this morning with this doctor in England who's talking about how, he was managing a bunch of people with type 2 and how he'd blame them and tell them, like, eat less and move. And then when they didn't have success, he blamed them. And then he said he's telling a story about how one of his patients comes in one day and just kind of chastises him. He's like, you don't even understand. Like, I moved to a lower carb diet and I'm off my metformin now, and look at my blood sugar and blah, blah, blah. And the guy, he actually looked up and paid attention and took, took responsibility for the things he was saying to people and stopped saying it to them. And,
Yeah. I mean,
it's just real. But in the course of him talking, he talked about how just by cutting some carbs out of your life makes you less hungry. See, my point is, you don't realize that you're on a hamster wheel. Like, like somebody gets you started and, you're 8 years old and someone's giving you soda and something else, and then your body craves it, and then it just keeps going and it perpetuates and perpetuates, and you wake up 15 years later and, you're 25 years old and you're 70 pounds overweight and you can't stop eating, and people are like, just eat less. And you're like, I can't,
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Thanks. You're just caught at that point,
Yeah. I mean, I got super excited listening to you talking about Arden, and I think you said she microdoses hers. But I was like, wow, that's amazing, because by the time Eloise is an adult, like, they're going to know more about the correlation between GLP-1s and type 1 diabetes. And, that's amazing for her.
Yeah. Lots of studies are going on now. So we'll wait and see. And hopefully they just put that Ozempic out in a pill. I mean, my brief understanding of it is that I think they have to hit you with a lot of it because it's going in through your stomach, and it maybe is causing some problems for people. But maybe they'll figure that out. Maybe they'll figure out better ways to inject it. Like, I don't know, but at least people are talking about it.
For sure. I mean, there's so much stigma around it. I don't really know why.
Mm-hmm. I
do know why.
I just bullied my neighbor into it 2 days ago. Let me get a drink. I'll tell you. So he's an older guy, and, he's got issues, but he's got, he's probably pre-diabetic or has, type 2. And I got him a meter 2 years ago, and I don't think he used it. And, I tried, and he's, I'm not related to him. I tried a number of different ways to explain it to him. And he's like, he's got some neuropathy in his feet already. He's, he's gaining weight. His energy's low, blah, blah, blah. And I'm standing outside with him the other day, and he's like, I got these terrible body aches. They put me on a statin. And I'm like, I said, what are you on a statin for? And he goes, he starts talking about all the reasons the doctor put on the statin. I said, I got to tell you, I'm stunned they didn't just try to give you a GLP.
Right.
And he goes, oh, no, they did. And I went, oh, did you start using it? He goes, no, I'm not going to do it.
Oh.
And I'm like, why? And he goes, side effects. And I said, what are those side effects? And he goes, my wife said there's a lot of side effects. And that was kind of it. And so just like that, he wasn't going to do it. So I pulled out a photo of myself from 3 years ago, and I went, come on, man. Like, look at this. Like, he said, well, don't you have side effects? And I was like, I'm awesome. I was like, is that a side effect?
The side effect is I might live a little longer.
Yeah. How about I'll live longer? How about I said, it's dissolving fatty liver disease for people. It's, your weight will go down. But then it's interesting to hear me go, so I don't really need to lose weight. And I'm like, sure you do. I was like, what do you, and you realize that people get comfortable with that or don't see themselves the same way. So then I just shared with him. I said, man, when I started doing this, I thought 20 pounds. And I lost 20 pounds and stood in the mirror, and I was like, what in the world made me think I only needed to lose 20 pounds? And then I thought, well, 30, And then I got to 30, and I was like, that's not enough. And then I got to 50, and I was like, oh my God, I thought I needed to lose 20 pounds. I'm at 50. It's not even, I'm nowhere near this yet.
Yeah.
So I was like, you need to lose weight. I'm like, it's going to lower your A1C. I said, your brain, I started going over things. I was like, you got brain fog? He goes, yeah. I'm like, that's going to go away. I'm like, it's going to like balance your blood sugar. I'm like, what do you think? And he goes, well, but what about the side effects? I said, the side effects you're having now is you're dying.
Right.
Yeah. I was like, I'm like, I don't know what's going to, I don't have a crystal ball. I was like, I don't know. Maybe you'll get diarrhea for 3 months.
Okay.
What are you going out? Like, just go to the toilet. Like I said, your body will regulate it. It'll get better. I said, maybe you'll get constipated. Take a little magnesium oxide. You'll be fine. I was
it's been an interesting GLP journey for us, because my provider originally put me on it. My insurance would not touch it unless I had a type 2 diagnosis, which is probably the case for most people. And so she called it in compounded, did that for about a year, lost. And then my insurance, the compounding pharmacy that I was going to stopped carrying it. So I was like, what am I going to do? Like, once you're on it, you're like, what am I going to do?
Yeah.
So I don't know if I can say this on the podcast. I guess I can. My husband and I started compounding it ourselves. You can order the peptides, which I know is controversial.
Did you really?
Yeah. So he just, like I said, he was a lab technician before this, so knew enough scientifically to be able to do it. So he just orders the peptides, and we do it at home. Um, and he gained a ton of weight when he got out of the military, but he's lost 150 something pounds.
Good for him.
I have stalled out at about 45. But I think I need to up my protein. And I really think managing Eloise's diabetes makes me more conscious of what I eat, but we're so busy that I don't really dial into my own nutrition.
Yeah, you do have to keep eating, and the nutrition has to be. I have found that sometimes if I'm cut back on food too much, I don't lose weight. And
I think what's happening to me.
Yeah. So
I really do. I'm so focused on her, and like right now, a huge thing is figuring out breakfast. Breakfast has been just a huge disaster for her. I think her basal maybe needs to be turned up a little around that first hour or two of school. I mean, today she sat at like 250 for like 2 hours. And of course, I'm not at school. The school cannot give her a bolus of insulin. She's on the Tandem Mobi, so it'll give her those automatic boluses, but sometimes they're just not enough.
Why can't the school give her insulin?
I think it's I think they don't want the liability of administering it. And again, it's from the phone.
Can you just text her and be like, hey, give yourself a bolus?
I think next year we'll probably end up doing that. I have a lot of nerves about doing that right now. Again, we're only like a year and a half in, and she's pretty responsible. Thank goodness it's her, not the boys, because she's way more responsible than them.
The mullets.
But the mullets would not be like the most responsible with it. But so, yeah, I mean, next year, I think I'll probably be able to text her and say, hey, give yourself a correction. But right now she's super smart, but she has her moments where I'll be like, Eloise, bolus yourself 20 carbs, and she'll just like type in 2 and hit administer. And I'm like, yeah, we can't. And we have a limit set on there, but you can't give yourself 200 carbs as opposed to 20.
Yeah. You just don't think she's quite ready for it yet.
Not quite. I think in about a year, she probably will be.
Fair enough.
But right now, she's just kind of meh. And I get the school, that's a huge liability on them.
Well, can I make an easy suggestion?
Yeah.
Summer's coming, right? So just do all of her bolusing through texting, even when you're with her.
That's a great idea.
Yeah,
that is a really great idea.
Yeah. Just say, hey, look, we're going to
swing of it.
Yeah, we're going to practice this here at home. And then we're going to be all ready for school next year. And then we're going to try to eliminate, nursing visits and your blood sugar staying high all day. And, we'll practice when you need to drink a juice or have a gummy or whatever you're going to do. Like, we'll do it all by text. So then you can go back and look and see what she did until you're comfortable that she's going to be good with it.
That's a great idea. And I think, the phone is used way more than we ever wanted to use it. Right now, I primarily will just text the teacher and be like 2 gummies, half a juice. And her teacher's great. Last year, when we went back to school, I did not know what we were going to do. I remember telling the PICU doctor, I was like, look, we don't have a school nurse. She has a male teacher who's in his 20s who is petrified of blood. Like, how are we going to do this? And we go back to school, and I'm like, a shout out to our teacher last year. I love him. He's great. But I said, hey, I need you to practice. She wasn't sticking her finger at the time. So I said, I need you to practice helping her stick her finger. And he's like, yeah, I got it. Young guy, no kids. Give him the alcohol wipe, and he wipes his own hand.
You're like,
I was like, so that's not right. So we had to really fine tune that a little bit. And, she does great with it. I think she needs to build a little more confidence with it. And doing it herself. I know she'll get there. She and her brother will be in the same class next year. It'll be a combined 3rd and 4th grade class. So I'm a little bit nervous that either I feel like he's going to feel too responsible for her next year.
You don't want to put it on him either.
Yeah, that's a whole emotional side of things where, I don't want him to feel like you're responsible for your sister, but I do think he will ultimately feel that way. It's taught both of the boys just a ton of empathy. They know if we go on a family walk, like they're gonna be smart enough to stick fruit snacks in their pocket. So they have that. I'm super impressed with, and I'm proud of them for that. I had a bad mom moment last week. We went on a family walk, or not a family walk. It was just Eloise and I. She's on her scooter. We leave the house. Blood sugar's like 250. We had pizza. We're gonna get the blood sugar down, but we have some insulin working. All of a sudden, Dexcom's like 70 double arrow down. No problem. We drink a juice box. sit down on the curb for a second, and then it's like 58 double arrow down, and I had no more low snacks. So I'm like, great, okay, we're gonna hang out on the curb. We're probably half a mile from home at this point. My husband's not home, so we just sit on the curb, and blood sugar was not coming up. So I call my sister, and I'm like, she lives 10 minutes away. I'm like, you're gonna have to come get us.
Bring
and
food.
She did. Do what?
Bring food.
Literally, I'm like, I think that's why I felt so bad. I'm like, how am I so dumb to just leave home with one juice box? So I go home that night, and I'm sobbing because I'm like, this is a terrible diabetes parenting moment. Like, I just didn't have it together, you know?
Yeah.
But that's just kind of the way it goes. You have those days.
It's happened to all of us, if that makes you feel better.
Yeah, I felt so terrible. I was like, how am I? And then if you even tell that story to somebody who is not a type 1 parent, they're like, how could you? Like, your daughter has diabetes. How could you not load your back down with 13 juice boxes before you go on a walk?
Are people being bad to you, or is that just your fear?
I think it's my internal thoughts. I do. Mm-hmm. I think I pride myself on being the best mom ever. Whether or not I am, I don't know. I think if you are worried about how your parenting style is, you're probably doing a good job.
At least you're paying attention, right?
Right. Yeah. At least you're paying attention. So, but no, I mean, even like the mornings when we go into school and she has a crazy high blood sugar, and I'm talking to people and I'm like, oh, she probably has this high blood sugar because she had a waffle this morning. I feel like they're thinking, why would you give your daughter who has type 1 diabetes a waffle?
Yeah, because
they're probably not.
Yeah.
They're probably not. They probably don't even know like what the carb count is in a waffle. They probably don't think that. But that's my own thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want her to have those thoughts, and I'm trying to help her get to the point where she does not she had a low blood sugar at gymnastics the other day, and I'm like, why didn't you come off? Like, why did you not look at your coach and say, my blood sugar's low, I need to go treat? And she's like, I don't know, I just didn't want to stop.
Yeah, it's super simple. Like, just, it's not a thing. Listen, I've been watching it for 20 years, and I've had countless conversations with people. It's not as easy. Like, when it's you, it's not as easy as like, oh, these are the rules. We follow the rules. They feel a certain way. They don't want to be inconvenienced, and it's not even that conscious. I don't think. I think it's just that, like, it doesn't even occur to you. You don't think of yourself as diabetes, from what I can tell from talking to people and watching Arden. Like, and I'll say to her sometimes, like, hey, you gotta like now's the time. Like, if you do something right now, you won't get low. And and sometimes absolutely. She just won't. And then she'll get low. And I'm like, Arden. And she's like, yeah, but it's not, I don't know how to put it exactly. It's not them ignoring anything. It's just part of like the human side of it.
Yeah. And that's so tough. And, I see that with my father-in-law, and it's made me reframe how I view him and his diabetes management. I would say he handles his diabetes management differently than we do for Eloise. Like I said, is not on an insulin pump. He was on one in the 90s, and I guess it gave an automatic bolus, and he had a horrible seizure. And, since then he's like, I don't want to go through that again. I think maybe we'll be able to change his mind when he sees Eloise's success with it.
Well, he might want to assume that 35 years later, something's changed.
Right.
Yeah.
But, even this past Christmas, we're sitting there, and he and my husband were playing a board game, and my husband realized, oh, his blood sugar is low. He's, getting a little silly. And he had a pretty bad low that day. One of the South Carolina family members hands him a Diet Coke. And we're like, okay, probably not that.
Give him a Diet Coke and get him some beef jerky. I've heard that's helpful too.
Anything but that. Maybe the box of honey buns over there. But anyway.
Well, what you should do is just open up a chatbot like window, or like, I don't know, get AI on your phone, open it up and let him talk to it for 10 minutes. Tell him, hey, look, have a conversation with us about something you don't understand. And then when you come back, instead of talking to him about that, go, can you imagine how much better insulin pumps must be by now?
100%.
Yeah. Does he have a CGM?
He has just started wearing a Libre.
Good.
And he, I don't think is in love with it. I think he's like, this is cool, but not that impressed. But yeah, so he's having this, he left his phone outside at Christmas, so he did not realize his blood sugar was low. And then it got pretty bad pretty fast. He was probably seconds from having a seizure when my husband stepped in. Mm-hmm. And I'm watching my daughter watch this happen. Mm. And, she's 7, and I can see on her face, she's petrified. like absolutely petrified. And, I asked another family member to take her outside, but it's tough I can't imagine being in her shoes and watching that happen, knowing like this could be you. So it's just, that's tough. That's tough to explain because I think he has a lot of like diabetes burnout, and I don't have diabetes. I don't know what it's like to live with it for decades. But I'm sure that there's a lot of burnout there, but I also want her to see like, you need to do better because we know you can do better. We know we can do better.
Yeah. No, it's hard for her. I mean, it's got to be hard for her because there's part of her's just probably worried for him. And the other part of her, if not in that moment later, she's going to think, oh, like, is that going to happen to me?
Yeah. She's brought that up a couple times. She had probably her worst low blood sugar this past summer. We had gone to a pizza buffet and not my favorite place under the sun, but we'd come home. She's jumping on the trampoline and I don't remember what I was doing, but I was busy, and somehow her blood sugar had gotten into the 40s, and we sit her down, and I could tell by looking at her face, she was very, very low. My husband comes in, like I have the glucagon on standby, and my husband is holding her face to try and get her to drink, and she does. And afterwards, we're both just like sobbing, it was so scary. And my husband's like, I think I'm more upset because I've seen how bad this can get with my dad.
Yeah.
And I asked him, I was like, is it more traumatic watching your child or your parent? And he's like, 1,000% your child, You can be an 8-year-old boy and watch with your dad.
It's the trampoline, right?
It's 100% the trampoline.
Yeah. Okay.
100%. Like I hate the trampoline anyways, but yeah, she goes out there and I wish the trampoline would have blown away in the hurricane 2 years ago, to be honest with you. I was hoping it would, but all that was lost was the net. She goes out there and she knows it's a whole thing. She's a competitive gymnast and she knows what jumping does to her blood sugar. She knows all that, but she still asks, can I go out there? And I feel bad because before she can even go out there, it's a discussion of what is your blood sugar? Your phone needs to be close by so you can get your blood sugar reads. It's a whole thing for her to even go on the trampoline, And I think people don't realize that. Like, she wanted to go swimming with a friend yesterday. And I'm like, oh, you probably can't go. I can't just send you. I don't know how comfortable they are with your diabetes. And we got to disconnect the pump and we got to wrap the CGM. And you feel terrible in those moments.
Yeah.
Because you want childhood to be normal, but it's not. It's not the same.
What do you think makes that more normal? Because there are people. Do you think it's time? Like, what's going to get you to the point where you go ahead, go swimming now?
I think her getting more mature and, just her taking more control of her diabetes. I think that's going to help a ton. Mm-hmm. But like, that's the only thing I can think of. We're not at the point where I can send her to a vacation Bible school or a cheer camp and be like, oh, I think she's going to be fine. Like, I have to know who's there. Do they know how to handle the diabetes? Is she in enough control? We're just not there yet.
There's a camp in Texas called Camp Sweeney. That's a diabetes camp. Yeah, that one might be good for her.
I've heard of it, and we kind of looked into that. Our local hospital here does a daytime camp that's 3 days. Her endocrinologist actually helps work it. Nice. Shout out to him. He's on your list of great providers. He's amazing. He also has type 1 diabetes.
Oh, cool. Juicebox.com. I just want to say.
Yeah. He's on there, and he didn't even tell us he had type 1 until 4 visits in. Oh, he was just a casual guy. Well, yeah. I'm telling him.
Yeah, but
the first couple visits.
You don't want to give it all away in the first episode.
Absolutely not. It was the first few visits. I'm like, I cannot take this kid home. I do not got this. This is terrible.
She lives with you now. Bye, sweetie.
Yeah, I'm like, can we just? She's with you. But the 4th visit, she was on a pump within 3 weeks. The 4th visit, he was like, "This is the insulin pump I wear. Would she like to wear this one?" I was like, "Oh, that guy also has type 1." So that was kind of nice. He's not just speaking from a textbook. He's speaking from personal experience.
Yeah. No, I mean, you've got to imagine that that's a value. I think that, most people I hear who say that, oh, my endo or my nurse practitioner, somebody has type 1, it's a huge benefit for them. So.
Yeah, absolutely. He's not judgmental towards any of the questions that I have. Like, he's very, he's like, "No, I get it." But, I think going into this next year, my biggest fear for her is she's going into a different class. It's an older grade. I want her to have better management, but there's going to be 20 kids in her class this year and, no nurse. I'm like, how's it going to go? How's she going to do?
Yeah, you'll be okay. I'm telling you, you practice over the summer. You start texting with her about it. You'll be surprised.
I really love that idea. I think that's going to be, and that's tangible right there. I can look back at the text messages. So I think that's a great idea.
Well, and even if you're panicked in the beginning, like she could snap a picture of the screen before she gives the bolt. There's a lot of things you could do to make yourself more comfortable and to get her feeling confident and focused so that she's doing the right thing. Like you don't want to listen, she needs to understand. You don't want to scare the hell out of her, but she needs to understand, like if I say 2, it's 2. It's not 20 or that kind of thing. But stay with where she's comfortable and what you're comfortable with. But in your situation specifically, where the teachers are squeamish, the school doesn't want to be involved, and there's no nurse, like what's she just going to run around 250 all day?
That's the thing. Like that can't be a thing.
No, right. No, you got to figure out something else. And you can't be driving over. I mean, I don't know where you live. You probably
I drive every single day to the school for lunch insulin. So
That's
I work
insane.
there 2 days a week. It is insane. So I work there 2 days a week, and the other 3 days I drive to school every single day for lunch. And it has been fine, but I'm getting to my limit. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, no, that's got to come to an end. That's
like I'm totally getting to my limit with it. And
wait, someone in the office won't act as a proxy, just look over her shoulder while she's doing it?
So once or twice, and by one of the times, my husband was supposed to go, and he forgot.
Hey, listen, we have a lot on our minds. Okay.
Yeah. So I had to text her. I had to be like, hey, I don't know if you know this or not, but our daughter needs insulin to live. No, I didn't say that. I nicely said, he sounds so incompetent through this podcast. He is not. He is the most involved dad you'll ever meet.
Listen, he figured out how to compound GLPs in his house. I figured. Oh, also, let me just say, nothing you hear on the Juicebox Podcast should be considered advice, medical or otherwise. Always consult a physician before making any changes to your healthcare plan. You're like, we just made it in the kitchen. It's fine. Well, listen, it's, anyway, sorry. He forgot to give her the insulin. And what was the rest of that story?
He forgot to give it to her. So that day, the teacher just FaceTimed me and was like, hey, I'm going to physically let her plug it into the phone. I'll look over her shoulder. You double check via FaceTime. And that was fine. Like that worked. It's exhausting. Like my whole day revolves around diabetes. And that's not including like, I got to fill the prescriptions every 4 weeks. I got to call for the prior auths. I got to make sure I'm making the endo visits. It's also,
you're alive. You're also alive and you have a job and you have 2 other kids and a house and everything else. Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. People are like, why don't you just work at her school 5 days a week? And I'm like, who is cleaning our house?
Why don't we just text each other and figure this out? Like, that's fine. And by the way, this teacher, he's in his 20s. You could talk him into it in 3 seconds. He doesn't know anything. Just be like, look, we did it once. It worked, man. Let's keep going, baby. And it doesn't have to be FaceTime. I trust you. You know what a 2 looks like, right? Come on, get in there.
I love all the young teachers at her school, though, because they're the best. They're like, we're going to learn this. And whenever they do a great thing, like sometimes I'll see her trending down and then she randomly will study out and they'll be like, just so you know, I gave her 2 gummies. And I'm like, wow, like they are getting it. Yeah. They got it. And I'm so proud of them too.
I got to tell you something. There's not that much to it. It seems reasonable that people should be able to understand, like, sugar in place of low number, high number gets insulin.
You would think. Yeah. You would think.
Well,
but people still say super dumb things, people still say super dumb things. People still, like I went on a walk last week and a neighbor said, how's Eloise? I said, she's doing great. And she said, my nephew was diagnosed this past year in college with type 1, so he obviously wasn't taking care of himself.
Because he was in college? Oh, wait, this person thinks they were
diagnosed with type 1.
Oh, they think the kid got type 1 because he was away in college.
Well, because he wasn't taking care of himself.
Oh, you know how that goes. You know how when you don't eat chicken, you get type 1 diabetes.
Right. And Eloise was standing right there, and I just said, and some days, you're like, it's my job to educate. And some days you just want to be like, can you shut the hell up?
Yeah, I'm not doing this with you right now. Yeah, you can't tell everybody. Also, it's not even like, it's not their fault. Like I used to say a lot before, we could make a long list of things I don't have any meaningful understanding of. And, and if you did, you might mark me as, as uneducated or ignorant or something like that, because I don't know about a thing you know about. But Right. Just not how it works. So
in the South, we just say, bless your heart.
I know what you people do. I've been there.
But if we say bless your heart, we mean that. But if we say bless it, that's very condescending. Like, that's not a good thing.
Oh my God. I know when you look at how some people react to things, I'm just like, I don't know. I don't even know how we're all still here.
No.
Like there's a post up now where, it's, I mean, it's not a big deal, but like I listened to the financial call that Dexcom put on the other day, and they announced some like product stuff. And so I kind of did a breakdown for it online. And, like, look, G8's going to come out in the next year or so. It's going to be smaller. They think there's going to have improvements. Here's what they're shooting for, blah, blah, blah. Now, some people are like, that's enough of all this. Just cure this.
Oh my gosh. Like, oh, is that it? Okay, cool.
Oh, you're right. Why didn't we think of that?
People say wild things online, though, like wild things. And I'm not going to lie. It's usually like the demographic of my parents' age. It's kind of like the whole like AI making themselves into different people thing. And then they take the compliments for it.
I don't know why. Why are they doing? Or one person said, it looks bigger in the picture, not smaller. And I'm like, those are AI representations of what they might look like one day. Like, you really don't know that, do you? That's fascinating. Like, you think,
don't make yourself into like an AI character and then have everyone be like, Scott, you look so good.
But
and then be like, thank you so much.
Can you imagine that someone doesn't like realize that something that doesn't exist yet, if you have an image of it, it isn't actually the thing?
They can't.
Like,
they cannot. And they can't.
How do you not be able to make that leap? Like, I don't understand.
Those are the people who are not finding the podcast early enough, though, also, because they don't know how to use the internet.
I think this is a bigger problem. Like, there's the thing that doesn't exist yet. It'll be out in 2 years. Here's a graphic, because, by the way, if I don't put a graphic with it, then Facebook isn't going to show it to you. So I have 100%. To do that. And so, like, and now you know about it at least, and that's good, I think. But I don't know. They're like, that looks bigger than the other one in the picture. I'm like, yes. Well, they're not the.
Oh my gosh.
They're in my head.
People get so tripped up. Even yesterday, just like this guy that he's a family friend and we love him, but bless his heart, he came up to Eloise and he said, he was pointing to her Dexcom and he was like, why is your thing not on the other arm? It was on the other arm at church last week. Like he couldn't process what was happening. And I was like, oh, we move it every 10 days. And he thought that was her insulin pump. And like, she doesn't even bother to explain anymore. Like, she's just like, Mom, take the wheels on this because
your friend is annoying.
That's exactly how she feels. And I think now we've realized that little boys do not really care that much about the devices. It's the girls who do. And they will ask her every question under the sun, every question. And she gets so perturbed. Like, she's like, please stop. But the boys don't care.
No, boys don't. Well, I mean, your husband didn't remember she needed insulin for lunch, so we don't.
That's
really,
exactly.
We don't
right.
really think about the same things you think you do.
They do not care. They don't care. They're just like, this girl has a computer on her, and we don't really care. But the girls, they're like, what is that? And I'm telling you, these little girls now are so mean. I don't know what you've been through with Arden, but they're all mean. They're all like, what are you sick with?
I've seen a couple of mean ones over the years. Not usually about the diabetes, though. It's interesting.
And that's like, and that's where I have to ask myself, like, am I thinking that they're being mean, or are they actually being mean? And like, just now, Eloise is to the point where, like, this summer, the other day we went to the pool and she was like, I want to wear a 1-piece bathing suit instead of a 2. And it slowly clicked with me. She knew she was going to be around all these girls and she didn't want her sight showing, which is fine. Okay. I'm sure she's going to have those days where she does and she doesn't. So like, trying to help her with that. But also, like, I don't want her. I try to always tell her, I'm like, if someone is making a rude comment about your diabetes or like that they can catch it, whatever, that says more about them. It's not personal towards you. Yeah. They're probably just having a bad day. Move on.
Yeah. I mean, once you can, I mean, that's tough as a kid, but once you realize that what other people are saying or doing is not any impact on you, it's a pretty freeing moment in life. I don't know. It takes people a long time to get to it sometimes. I'm sure, like, the way that everybody has contact with each other now. Like, I've mentioned it to people in the past. I'm like, you have a text chain with a bunch of friends where you make fun of other people, and they're like, no, yes, we definitely do. Yeah, and I'm like, right. So, when that's going on, and those people are, I'm not in their text chain. I'm sure they're talking about me in there. But you got to be.
You probably have so many people with text chains about you because you're on a podcast.
Oh, 100%. I would imagine a lot of people hate me. Yeah. So, but I would never think about it, to be perfectly honest with you.
No, you have to get past that. You have to just say, okay, well, that's on them. What other people think of me is none of my business.
People try to come to me. By the way, I've even come to believe that those people don't have, like, they'll come to you and be like, I don't know if you know this, but this person's saying something about you online. I'm like, I don't care.
I literally do not care. Like I'm on the internet. I don't care. You have to just let it. I struggle with that. And even like I've made like a couple TikToks where it's like informational things about diabetes because a lot of my friends do watch them. But then I'm like, what is so-and-so from high school thinking about, I don't know, my hair length? You can't care about that. You cannot care about that. The other day, a lot of people are very curious about like glucagon. And I'm like, I should probably like either share something or repost something that kind of gives an overview of glucagon should she ever need it. But I'm like, I can't record that because what if my house is not clean enough? You know?
Yeah.
I will have to go to a deserted island.
I don't think about anything like that at all. And listen, in the end, I think the podcast is valuable because I am just sitting here like nothing's planned out. I am just talking off the top of my head. And I'm certain that I say something that annoys people every 5 seconds. I don't know how I couldn't possibly otherwise. If you wanted me to sit here and sanitize this to the point where no one would ever have their feelings hurt, no one would ever disagree, then what this would be is not valuable. And it would absolutely not. And so then it's gone. I was contacted the other day by a person who I don't know that well, who I think probably thinks I know them better than I do. Who I have a really like solid feeling about. Like, and it's the best way I can explain it to you. Like, I know if they heard this, they'd probably be like, oh gosh, like, you know, they're minimizing how much they know. I really don't know them. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But I'm aware of them. I've had some short interactions with them.
They're a fan.
I don't know even that. But what I can tell you is I really genuinely, I like this person. And this person comes to me and is like, I don't appreciate what you said. And I'm like, I don't even know what you're talking about.
Okay.
Like, I really don't even know what you're talking about. And then they're more clear. And I'm like, I don't remember that. And and I don't. And then I had to drill down to figure out what it was I said. And then I was like, I meant that positively. Like, I don't even know what to do. I'm confused by this whole thing, you know? And then I tried to talk to them about it. And then they clammed up about it. So they come to me like kind of aggressively. And I'm like, hey, like, let's talk. I guess I don't know what you're talking about right now. I have nothing but good feelings about you. So this might really just be a misunderstanding. I'm not sure. And now I can't get them to interact. And I'm like, what do you, I don't know what you want from me. Like
you do a good job though of keeping it real. Like even in the past when I don't know, I love when you kind of passively talk about someone who is either trying to be an influencer or trying to like sell something diabetes related. I love when you call that out because that's gotten out of control. I
don't love the selling part. I don't care if you want to be if you want to be an influencer, I guess I don't care about that. Like, I think that's another way of like, and by the way, what does it matter what I think? But I think that's just another way of getting information out there. And if someone's going to come along and offer you an ad for something or something, then God bless you. Like, I have no trouble with people making money at all. Like nothing. I think it's fantastic. I have trouble with the coaching stuff.
Within 48 hours of my kid being diagnosed, like I had posted something about her being diagnosed. I get this inbox from this person who actually seemed like their profile seemed a little bit organic and the conversation seemed organic. And then the next thing was, okay, you should buy this course. I am 48 hours into a life-changing diagnosis. And you're trying to get me to buy something.
It's predatory.
It is. Yeah, and I just thought, what?
Well, I'll tell you what I've been doing. This is pretty recent for me, so there's no way for me to talk about it yet. But right now I have 50 people doing like demoing a thing that I made. So what I did was I looked up and I looked at these, like, what are these people selling people, right? They're selling them courses and they're not necessarily medical. They're almost more support like.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and then they're selling them for like thousands of dollars. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, why don't I just make one of them and just give it away? That's what I was thinking. And
they're all going to be real bad at you.
I don't care. So I made a 21-day. Here, I'll tell you about it. I made a 21-day. Let me see how I can explain it to you. So it's basically like the pro tip practice, right? Okay. It's 21 days plus an extra day. And you just agree to it and then, go to day one. And I'll read you day one. It says, most people come into something like this thinking they're catching up. They're not. There's no schedule for understanding type 1 diabetes. There's no syllabus you missed. Whatever you know on the day you start is the right amount to start with. Whatever you don't know is what the next 3 weeks are for. And then it says today's idea, time with type 1 isn't the same as fluency with type 1. There are people who've lived with type 1 for 50 years and still don't understand basal insulin. There are people newly diagnosed who are already seeing patterns their care team has missed. The two often have nothing to do with each other. What separates the fluent from the time served is whether they've ever moved from passively receiving information to actively noticing what's happening. The Pro Tip series puts it this way, and there's a little quote from the series. And then it says, today's affirmation, I'm not behind, I'm starting. Then today's notice how you feel when you check your CGM today. Not the number, not the feeling. Curiosity, is it dread? Is it tiredness? Nothing. Just notice it. And then it gives you a link to a small SIPS episode. It says, if you want to, listen to this short episode. And then there's an evening reflection. What did I notice about my relationship to the CGM today? That's it. And when you mark that complete, it moves you on to day 2. And this goes on.
That's so helpful.
Yeah. And then day 2 is name what you've been carrying. And it goes on from there. And so I have 50 people right now. God bless these people. Very nice that are demoing it. 50 people with type 1 diabetes who are demoing it right now. They're going through the 21 days. They're going to give me their feedback. I'll make it better for them. I'll find ways for it to do other stuff. And then I'm going to move on and I'll do an onboarding that'll lean more on the Bold Beginnings series. And I'll make a bunch of different things that people are selling you for thousands of dollars. And you can just have them. And that's it.
Wow.
Yeah. So it just, I don't know. Like, again, if you have a coaching thing and you're making money on it, like, that's great. But when I start, I don't know. Like, I interviewed somebody recently who was like, I paid $3,000 for a course. And I was like, did it help you? And they went, not really. And I was like,
absolutely not.
I was like, oh God. Like, and then why'd you do it? Well, I was lost. I was stuck and blah, blah, blah. Or I'm like, and I don't know. And listen, everyone's not running around paying thousands of dollars for courses. And I'm sure the people who are doing it are mostly people who can afford to do it. And I genuinely don't have a problem with somebody making $1. Like, I make money, I sell ads. But I don't know. Like, it feels wrong to me to like charge somebody money to teach them what a pre-bolus is. Or
for sure. And yet that's happening.
Yeah. And it just I mean, okay. Like, but even that aside, that I even understand, like, you're 48 hours out of being diagnosed and someone's creeping in your DMs and being like, hey, I know everything, blah, blah, blah. I'm so sorry for you. Oh, hey, buy this. Are you fucking kidding me? Like,
that's exactly what happened. And I was pissed.
Yeah.
And then like the next day is literally somebody in my inbox who was like, have you paid attention to her gut? I guarantee you this has started in her gut. And I'm like, dog, I'm literally just trying to keep this kid alive. Like, I'm trying to get
it's not going to stop.
Right,
yeah. Your gut biome's off. This is happening. That's happening. We have these pills that'll take care of that. Everyone is just like, listen, I'm going to give you some advice that I've been giving my wife for 30 years. I said, that's our money. Everyone's trying to get it. It's your job to defend it. You defend our money, like, because somebody's coming for it. And that's just what's going to happen. The internet it's way fuller of people trying to take $1 out of your pocket than it is trying to help you out for nothing. And listen, again, I was able to figure out how to do this, okay? And fair enough, maybe everybody can't figure out how to do it so that it's free for the people listening. But, I don't know. I figured it out. Like, you could probably make a living without, like, reaching your hand in people's pockets. Like, try to, like...
without conning people.
Yeah, at the very least, just offer them something legitimate and they can make a decision about it. But don't come to them when they're crying in a hospital.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was.
I didn't even know that was happening. That's terrible.
It was, I was so upset about it.
Yeah.
And I know you have mixed feelings on this next topic, but we're in the process of a service dog right now. And I don't know how much you know about that, Scott, but that is a wild and crazy and interesting market. Let's put it that way.
Listen,
we can leave it at that.
I assume it's another opportunity for decent people to do a decent job and shitty people to rip you off. Like,
that's exactly right.
Yeah. And also, I mean, I'm not going to tell you what to do. I don't think you need a service dog. Like, but if you want one, then go get one. I mean,
I know it's got its goods and its bads. And, you have to, I will say this much. If you are like a newly diagnosed parent, do not jump 2 feet into it. Like, it's kind of like what she was saying in the Boggs family when they were on a couple weeks ago, do your research. Like, this is not a dog who is going to solve every single one of your problems. Like, that is not the case.
Well, did you hear what she said at the end of that about the dog?
I think I remember her kind of being like, I don't know that I would have done this if I could
Yeah,
go
that's
back.
my recollection that she was like, I don't know that we needed a service dog. So
We've
somebody'd have to
really,
go listen to be sure, but that's how I remember it.
yeah, we've really put a lot of thought into it. And I'll say this much: we had a really generous person who is funding it. And I think it'll be great for her. I think it'll be great in situations like, hey, you want to go jump on the trampoline, or you want to, go in the backyard by yourself.
I'm sure it will
great.
be. Yeah.
It's going to be, an extra line of defense at night for her when she's still sleeping in our room at night. And that's, we're getting to our limit on that.
Really? Why is she sleeping in your room?
Her room is upstairs. Ours is downstairs. And, it started out as like, okay, we got to wake up and do the finger sticks before we were on the CGM. And now I think it's an extra peace of mind for me. If we're going up and down the steps is annoying. But I think we're getting to the point where I'm like, I want her back in her room. I think she's getting to that point. And maybe it'll make me feel a little better when we have this dog. Just, maybe it can work the night shift. And I don't think it's going to catch every alert. It doesn't have opposable thumbs. Like, it can't go get a juice box.
Maybe you should be talking to a therapist.
Right. Yes. I think that's a lot of it. I think a lot of it is just being anxious about her at nighttime.
Yeah. Have you tried weed? They say that helps.
The way being a teacher set up.
Oh, then you're not allowed to smoke weed in South Carolina?
I don't even know. I think we actually have way more lax laws here than other places do. Mm-hmm. But I mean, for
not
me
your
personally,
thing, you're saying. By the way, I'm not suggesting
not my
it.
Thing.
I'm just asking what you've done.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I think at the end of the day, it's, we just need another line of defense for us, just for me to feel a little bit better at nighttime. But this is still, a pet that has to go everywhere with us. So it's going to be a whole lifestyle shift. But even that, people ask stupid questions about and make stupid assumptions about. Mm-hmm. They just, like I said, they think it can go like open the refrigerator and get a juice box. I'm like, it doesn't have opposable thumbs.
Listen, if you're looking for everybody not to be stupid, I think you're gonna get let down there. But listen, for me, I wouldn't want it. Like, I would think of it differently. Like, I hear all the positives you're saying. What I think is, can you imagine having to take a dog to the airport with you, to the grocery store?
I think that will not be. I think that will probably not be what our life looks like. That this dog will go everywhere, which for some reason really offends people. Like, if you say we're getting this service dog, but it's not going to go every single place we go, they're like, "What?"
Yeah, listen.
The animal will stay at home some. I'm like, I have 3 kids.
We're gonna make a list of things that people are offended by, and we'll be done by the time I'm 350 years old. So, be offended by whatever you want. It doesn't matter. I'm going to tell you that if she doesn't want people looking at her pump when she's at a pool party, I wonder how good she's going to be with the dog with the vest on laying next to her.
Yeah, and we've definitely had some discussions about that, because I'm curious to see. We've talked a lot about that. She's a huge animal lover. So again, if this comes to us and this is a very glorified pet, I wouldn't be shocked. I think she would be okay with that. Huge dog lover. But yeah, I think you have to think about all those things, and people don't. They just think, oh, I'm going to get this dog and it's going to solve all these problems. Or kind of like what Shannon was saying, like they're like a less of a type 1 parent if they don't. No, like that's not the case. And that's kind of everything with diabetes tech and, dogs and everything diabetes related. You feel like I guess that's parenting in general. You have to go get all these things and do all these things, or you're less of a parent or less of a caregiver. No, at the end of the day, you do the best that you can as a parent.
I can't wrap my head around feeling that way. I'm listening to you, and I commiserate that you feel that way, or that other people have, but I don't understand like why you care what anybody else thinks.
Yeah, no, I mean, you're exactly right. Yeah. You're exactly right. I've had conversations with other parents who have children with type 1 diabetes, and sometimes it does feel like a little bit of a comparison game. And I'm like, look, everybody's just doing their best. This is hard enough.
I'm unaware I'm sure people are doing that constantly. I'm completely unaware of it. And
I'm
is that what it is? It's because I'm a guy.
That's probably part of it. Yeah. I think moms, they have those comparisons.
I'd be like, fuck you.
Trust and believe that's what I'm thinking in my mind a lot of days.
I just wouldn't think about it after that. I'm busy. I got stuff I want to do.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
I can't imagine letting someone else make you feel a certain way.
Yeah, I just have to be like, I'm doing the best I can.
And my brain's already doing it to me. I don't need it done for me by somebody else.
My husband says the exact same thing. He's just, for lack of better words, he's like, Like we're doing what's right for our family. And that's what you have to do at the end of the day. And diabetes has lended some perspective to that too. At the end of the day, nobody has to walk in your shoes. Nobody has to be in your family situation. So you got to do what's best for you.
Yeah. I have such a hard time wrapping my head around that. I don't even know how to properly think about it because it sounds insane to me that you're concerned with it.
Yeah. I mean, again,
and I don't mean, let me be clear. I don't mean you're insane. I mean that like I can't grasp the idea of letting someone else's ideas, thoughts, things I imagine they might be saying impact my decisions. I couldn't possibly care less.
Yeah, this has definitely been one of the best things for me, just to say it is what it is. It, like, again, nobody else has to wake up with her when her blood sugar's low. Nobody else has to, do all the things that come along with diabetes. Nobody else has to have the 2 mullets sitting right there.
Listen, even down to like, if you think a service dog's a good idea, you shouldn't for a half a second think about what I think about it.
That's right.
Yeah, that's meaningless. Seriously.
No. You're exactly right. Your lifestyles all look so different. And that's a lot of diabetes too, is people think that their management style has to look like other people's. I want you to do what's best. I want you to care about your A1C, but you don't really have to care about what other people are doing.
Well, no,
because lifestyle's different.
Yeah. The first time somebody said to me on the podcast, they were like, I'm so sorry. Like, I tried so hard to follow all the things you were saying. I was like, you were trying to follow all the things I was saying? I was like, that didn't even occur to me. I was like, wait, what? I was like, you thought I was laying out a list of rules? I was like, this is the stuff that I find that works for me. Or it's been valuable.
Is so helpful. It's so helpful.
Listen, you don't have to be nice to me. Obviously, I've done an amazing thing for the world, but that's not the point. But my point is that like, if you hear me say 10 things and 5 of them are valuable to you, then awesome. Like, you don't have to go find a way to shoehorn the other 5 in. Like, go make your own thing. Or make your own stew out of like the carrots and the potatoes that I left you. Yeah. You don't have to anyway, my point is that it never occurred to me that somebody would be like, oh, I have to mimic this exactly. Like, I think
social media is a huge part of that too.
You think so? How? Yeah, what does that do?
I think, it's like with anything with social media. You see, oh, well, the person's handling it A, B, C, whatever way. And you're like, well, I should probably be doing that because that looks really good. Everything looks good. You don't show the bad things on social media, right? Like, everyone's life looks great and fantastic. So if them handling their diabetes this way looks really good, I probably should be doing that.
See, I think that's
not the whole picture.
I think that's a lack of self-confidence.
Probably.
I think when you look at somebody else doing something and you think, oh, they must know what they're doing. They're taking the time to show it to me, first of all. And secondly, they don't appear to have died at the end of it. Then you think, well, they must know and I don't know. I'm telling you, I've said this enough, but if I could just take a little bit of my healthy narcissism and give it to all of you, I think you'd be better off. Because
sometimes I do feel that I get secondhand narcissism from you. I think I know more because I'm like, I listen to the podcast.
I'm glad, by the way, because you don't. I mean, listen, you said it earlier, right? Like they go to give you the kid afterwards. Like, I can't take care of this kid. But look at you, you're doing it, right? I had the same feeling when Cole was born. And the nurse brought him back in and left the room. I was like, where are you going? You live with us now. I can't, that kid's going to be dead in 20 minutes if you leave this room. And it turns out it's not. It turns out he's 26 and he's really awesome. He has a great job and he's a good person and blah, 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 blah. Turns out I figured it out, and the rest of you can figure it out too. And you don't have to do it the way I do it. And you don't have to do it the way somebody else does it. Do it the way you think to do it. And it's not hard. Put other people before you. Make reasonable decisions, plan for the future a little bit. That's it. It's not that hard. And just be a reasonable person. I would try not coming home and getting loaded every day. That's probably a great one. You know what I mean?
That helps.
Yeah. Don't do coke in the bathroom at your retail job. Okay. I know the Target sucks, but a rail's not the answer. Okay. And little stuff. I know what you're all doing out there. I'm aware of what's going on in the world. Okay. That's just I don't know, get up with a reasonable sense of purpose in the morning, do your freaking best, get some decent sleep, have some protein, do a sit-up. You're fine. It'll be your version of perfect. And if I don't like it or somebody else doesn't like it, or you even perceive that I don't like it. In the case of my story from earlier, when I actually don't have a freaking opinion about it at all, just who cares?
Yeah.
Not me.
For sure. You're the only one who has to put your shoes on and
and I'm okay with what I'm doing. So, and I've proven it out in the world. Like, I think generally speaking, most people would agree that I'm a net positive. And
absolutely.
Yeah, I'm not perfect about everything, certainly. But you do more good than bad, then that's it. Look at you. You pushed everything forward a little bit. And you can do that.
No, that's so true.
Yeah.
That's life in general, and that's really what like our philosophy for our kids is. We're like, I don't care if they don't do anything else. I hope they're not a-holes. At the end of the day, if that's the only thing that they are, we've done our job. We did a great job.
Right.
We want them to know Christ first and foremost. That is the most important thing to us. Our job is to get them into heaven and not Harvard. But I hope that they are good people. That is my hope.
I think you could probably do both, but I hear what you're saying. And I don't know how great Harvard is, but
we are in South Carolina and they have mullets.
Well, that doesn't mean anything.
So I'll let you know how it pans out.
Are they smart boys?
They're both super smart boys. Our third grader goes ahead a grade for math. He's so smart. Our middle schoolers at an academically rigorous middle school. They're awesome. Both incredibly smart. Yeah, they got it all from their dad because he can mix up the things. Stop it.
He can mix up the things. He didn't know not to lead when I lost 100 pounds when he was hitting on you. I see you were like, oh, look at it. He puts his mind to things. I'd be like, what is going on right now? This guy has no game whatsoever. It's ridiculous. Like, do you think
he had on bless his heart. He had on like a plain polo and jeans because he thought he was going to impress his drill instructors. I don't. Okay. Whatever you do, guy. Whatever you got to do.
I don't know why you let him near you, but okay. Well, listen, you were fantastic. I really do appreciate you doing this. Is there anything we missed or left out? I think you might have a 2-parter. We might have gone so long.
I can totally do a 2-parter. My husband was really jealous and he was like, I want to go on and talk about my childhood trauma with type 1 diabetes.
Oh, tell him to come on. I'd love to do that. I have, by the way, I have other military spouses who have their own episodes.
Sweet. I'll have to listen to those.
Yeah. Tell him to do that. I'd listen. You trashed him. Let him come on and trash you.
And he will. He'll be like, she's so anxious. He took her to the lake last weekend without me. And he was like, everything went so much better without you there. He will
what's making, well, listen, is there any truth in that?
There's 100% truth to that. Like, I'm so type A and so controlling, but like literally it was like my best friend, my sister and him, they were all at the lake and I was at a baseball game with our other son. And they all said, she had a great day because you weren't there. Her sight got ripped off and blood everywhere. And we were all cool and we changed it and it was fine without you.
Look, I'm going to tell you right now, I think that me being a stay-at-home dad is having been am I still a stay-at-home dad? I guess I'm not now.
You're a working boy.
Me having been a stay-at-home dad for so long, I do think was valuable because just honestly, my general nature and the boy thing where you're just sort of like, hey, they'll probably be okay. Like, let's hold off. Let's hold.
He's so smart. He understands the science of type 1 diabetes, but he is so laid back. He's like, she's fine. Yeah. You need to chill out.
No, we had this, you've probably, if you've listened, like my son played baseball from the time he was 3.
I know, I love listening to those.
Yeah.
Stories.
3 to like till his last game in college for 4 years. And, there's times when they were little, like I remember this one mom, like the kid got hurt and she jumps up and we all just put our hand out and like sat her back down. And we were like, listen, just give him a second. Like, let's see if he can get back.
Being that mom.
Yeah. Or I happened to my wife one day and my wife's like, oh my God. I'm like, sit down. I'm like, if he's dead, he's dead. There's nothing we can do about it. And I was but if he's not dead, his mom running out on that field is not going to be a positive thing for him. You
are going to mortify him. Yeah. No, I don't run on the field anymore. Like, I'm like, they're fine. Like, I'm like, where the pitch, all of that I'm good with. But her, I'm like, oh, this is it. Today's the last day on earth.
It's probably not though. Listen here. May I make sense to you? Your father-in-law is still here.
He is still here. And you're exactly right. And he's a very successful professional. I'll give you that much. Like, he has a great job.
Well, I'm just saying he's not nearly as covered as she is. She's wearing a CGM. She's got a pump on that's trying to stop her from getting low, and and he didn't have any of those things, and he's okay. I mean, point is she's probably fine.
You're exactly right. Now everyone that listens to the podcast is going to be like, see, we've been telling you.
Mm-hmm. Well,
they're all going to be saying it.
Not only that,
wrong, guys.
I've been very. No. Eden's like, no. You're missing the point. She's gonna die. I got to do something. Okay. Like, she's not going to. She's gonna be fine.
The only thing has been fun, and we will. I'm totally fine with a 2-parter, and my husband would totally come on with me.
Tell him to. Well, no. I mean, yours is so long. Rob will probably turn it into a 2-part episode.
So you want him to have his own? Okay.
Yeah, I want him to come back. I don't need you lording over him while he's trying to share his truth.
You're exactly right. That's exactly what he would say. So
yeah.
He'll be thrilled.
I know how the pressure works. I've been married. I am married. I've been married a long time. I know how it works. I know when I look across the room and I go, oh, I'm not going to get to see boobs again for a while. Awesome.
That's exactly.
Yeah. I don't need that problem. Listen, should we call this episode Island in the Sun?
Yeah, I love that song. We love Weezer.
Yeah,
so,
well, I mean,
that's great. Because she will not get the reference because she's so young.
Well, that's her problem. She can grow up.
That's exactly right.
Maybe that's it. Although just Wheezy is such a good one, though.
I think either one will be absolutely perfect.
Yeah, it doesn't tie into the Jeffersons at all, but that's fine.
It does not.
What a great TV show! I don't know if anybody saw it, but
that was before my time. So
well, they owned a dry cleaner, and then it took off, and they got a deluxe apartment in the sky. It was fantastic.
My mom loves it. I couldn't tell you anything about it.
It's a great. Sherman Hemsley was hilarious on that show. Anyway. This is neither here nor there. I appreciate you doing this very much. I don't know what we're going to call it. Rob will probably just pick a title out. I'll be like, you should have called it this. At one point, you said your husband had major denial or something like that. And then when you told me what rank he held, I was like, oh, I wish he would have been a major because we could have just called this major denial. Would have been awesome.
No, he was just a corpsman in the Navy. So his highest rate was like a HM3 is what they call it.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
So no, nothing that would tie into that.
You guys, are you happy, generally speaking, that you were in the military?
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I got out when I was pregnant with our second. It said my husband used his GI Bill and went back to school. He was in the medical profession, but now he's a cybersecurity engineer, used his GI Bill. Best thing he could have done. It's given us a lot of discipline.
Yeah.
Some days it's sad because Eloise is like, oh, I'd love to be in the Air Force like you, Mom. And I'm like, well, as of right now, you can't. So that kind of sucks. But yeah, it was a great experience, I think, where people should do it.
So that GI Bill is why he knew to get you the microphone that you have right now and why you sound so good.
That's exactly right.
Finally, the military's coming through for my podcast and everything. All right. I'm actually going to stop with you, and then I'm going to ask you to tell me what microphone that is, because it's a one-ear earpiece.
It's a one-ear earpiece. I'm looking at the little
it's awesome.
The charger for it right now, and it's just like a basic Amazon thing.
It sounds terrific. Rob, I'm talking to Rob in the future, but I'm right? She sounds fantastic.
This is funny too, because he's been texting me this whole time. Do I need to go give her lunch insulin?
Yeah. Say, think a little bit. You don't need me but you know what? Can I give you a third party perspective here?
Absolutely.
If he knows what he's doing at the lake and he's texting you asking what to do now, you might have him a little scared.
Okay. And?
Well, don't do that.
No, he's the greatest guy ever.
I didn't say he wasn't a good guy, but do you have him a little scared? Is he afraid to?
A little bit.
Yeah, well, don't do that.
Just a little.
That's my marriage advice for everybody.
Okay.
I'm
watching his truck back out of the driveway right now.
When we get scared, we shut down a little bit.
No, we've worked on feelings. We've worked on talking. I
mean, scared of you. You know that, right?
Oh yeah, no, for sure. We that's another good thing about diabetes. We handle diabetes differently. So there are some days where we have to be like, look, this is not how I do it. I know you do it this way, but this is not how I do it.
Yeah.
There was one day where we went to Jersey Mike's and she really wanted, she could never go anywhere and do all these cool drink machines because a lot of them don't have diet sodas, but this one did. It had a bunch of different diet sodas and he would not let her take it with her when we left. And she was so distraught. It broke her heart. Yeah. And when we got home, I was so mad about it. I was so angry. And I said, you realize she can't just go get all these cool, fun drinks wherever because sometimes they don't have diet options. And he was like, I never saw it that way.
Yeah. Also, I don't know what happens when you get below North Carolina. It's okay to have diet soda. I don't know what's wrong with you people. It's
okay. Yeah. I know. Well, it's a whole huge thing here. And again, our family has a TTC, the tendency to chunk. So we have to be like Like our boys will they think diet soda is terrible.
Well, listen, I don't know if diet soda is good or bad, but I'm telling you that like there's a lot of sugar in soda, and
There's so much.
and there's literally a line when you're driving south where diet soda just disappears.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
100%.
I don't know. Listen, I can't fix the whole world. All right, let's get off so you can tell me what this microphone is, and then I'm going to go. Actually, I'm going to go help my daughter's very good friend buy her first car. That's what I'm going to do right now.
Fun.
So, yeah. Okay. I'm going to say goodbye. Okay. So, but you don't go anywhere. I'm just going to hit stop.
Okay.
To learn more and see if you might be able to get Twist from the pharmacy and try it for free, head to visit.twist.com/juicebox. That's visit.twist.com/juicebox. Or give them a call at 877-4TWIST. That's 877-489-4478 and tell them Scott sent you. Twist requires a prescription and is indicated for people with type 1 diabetes, ages 6 and older. US Med sponsored this episode of the Juicebox Podcast. Check them out at usmed.com/juicebox or look at this another phone number by calling 888-721-1514. Get your free benefits check today and get started with US Med. The podcast episode that you just enjoyed was sponsored by the Eversense CGM. They make the Eversense 365, and that thing lasts an entire year. One insertion every year. I mean, come on. You probably feel like I'm messing with you, but I'm not. EversenseCGM.com/juicebox. Let's face it, diabetes is tough, but it's easier when you have a community around you. So if you're looking for a great community around type 1 diabetes, check out the Juicebox Podcast private Facebook group. Juicebox Podcast Type 1 Diabetes, but everyone's welcome. Type 1, Type 2, gestational, loved ones, it doesn't matter to me. If you're impacted by diabetes and you're looking for support, comfort, or community, check out the Juicebox Podcast private Facebook group. Juicebox Podcast Type 1 Diabetes on Facebook. I promise you it is the most un-Facebook-like experience that you'll ever find. What a great group of people. I don't like saying this usually because it dates the ad, but right now there are 86,000 active members. 86,000 people in there who might have your experience, know what to say, or just be a great shoulder to lean on. Don't be too proud to find a community. It really does help. And it's completely free. Juicebox Podcast, Type 1 Diabetes on Facebook. I just want to say thank you so much for listening. I'll be back very soon with another episode of the Juicebox Podcast. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe in a podcast app. It really helps. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or whatever your favorite audio app is. Like and subscribe. You know what the kids say on the YouTube? Like and subscribe. It really does help. And if you're already subscribed, please tell a friend or your endo or somebody you think might enjoy the podcast as well. Word of mouth is the only way that it grows. Once again, I've been Scott, you've been fantastic, and we'll be right back with another episode of the Juicebox Podcast.